everybody, Kitsune Haru here. Welcome to my channel. Today we are at the work table because I'm doing some mini brands Make It Minis. This time it's Lord of the Rings. Based on what I'm seeing on these packages, I'm guessing you can do swords and things, which sounds pretty interesting. So let's go ahead and pop one open and have a look at what we're doing. Interesting. Alright, I gotta say, I like the design work they've done on these. Pull this thing off. Kind of nice foil ribbon. Maybe find a use for that? I don't know. Ooh, that's definitely different. So there's a box. Looks elven. Ooh, and we got some parts here. Looks like I'm going to be repairing a sword. This? Some sort of piping tube? A book? And read me first. Okay. It's kind of an interesting collection of things we've got here. So let's have a look here. Long instructions. Anyway, it's basically resin. So, give me a minute. I'm going to get set up and see what we got going on here. Alright, I've switched over to the silicone mat. Let's see what we are doing here. It's all illustrated. It says shards of Narsil. What are our options? Got 3 rares. Oh, a rare, an ultra rare, and a limited edition. There's the Morgul Knife, Urkai Sword, Double-Headed Axe, Witch King's Long Sword, Hunting Axe, Narsil, Shards of Narsil, White Knives, Sting, the High Elven Sword, Hergrim, and an Elven Dagger. Interesting. So this is the Shards of Narsil. In here, I have a thing with resin in it, I can assume, because it's got warnings on it and it's sealed. There's the little spout. And here, ooh, nice little map, an anvil, a hammer, little piece of sandpaper, and a whole lot of angel hair. So let's set the map back in here. This lovely fella has the display pedestal. A shield. A rather flexible blanket type thing. The hilt. Not certain what this little piece is yet. And of course the rest of the shards of the sword. And this, if I can open it, might be my mold. Yes, there's a mold in here. You can see where the sword's to lay, and actually there's some nice decorative work down the sides, which you can only see if the light hits just so. Start out with opening up the resin, adding on the nozzle, and this little doody dad. Of course it did say to shake this. Actually, while I'm doing that, let's go ahead and put together what it says to do with the sword bits. Okay. And I am to fill it in with the resin so it all sticks together. Once I cure it, I can pull it out. It says to sand it with this little guy. All this stuff is just props. And then the shield goes on the pedestal, the blanket thing goes on the shield, and the sword goes on that. And that's really all it has to say about that. Okay. Let's pull the tape here. There we go. It's just a little tight. Got this guy on. And then the nozzle. Then we wait to see if the resin decides to come out. There we go. I don't think they could have made it any harder to squeeze this bottle. I think it's about as full as it gets there. And I'm not waiting around for an hour. I'm going to get out my UV light. Better 2 minutes than 60. Alright, Houston, we have a problem. I have put this under the UV light 6 times, and it is still completely liquid in there. Nothing is setting up. So, either they did not put a UV resin in here and did something else, which means it's going to probably take about 24 hours to set, or there is something wrong with this UV resin and it will never set. On the bright side of things, this particular sword is supposed to be in shards, so the setting thing, all it's really doing is keeping it together for the display. I'm going to leave this be until tomorrow. In the meantime, let's have a look at the other one and see what's going on there. Maybe this is a fluke. This had better be a fluke. We'll see. Let's go ahead and open up this second one. See if we don't have some better luck than we did with the first. That's different. Two hilts. A sword stand so far. Come on. It doesn't want to come out. There it is. There's our little nozzle. I need to make use of these. They're supposed to be sword stand or display. We'll see how that goes. Here is the resin. Appears to be the same stuff. A small chain. And the nozzle. A couple of things of luster dust. And a spoon. Looks like my luster dust is escaping a little bit, but that's normal. Again, the map, along with your hammer your anvil and your sanding thing. It has two swords. But it appears to be Sting. But there's two hilts. Now, if this one doesn't set, it really will be a problem. The other one, it just doesn't held together. I can just glue it together, really. But this one has to go together because it's the actual blade of the sword. And there's the mold, which is upright. Again, has some nice decorations down the side. So it already shows that the ring goes on the front here. Just kind of, oops, if I can get it on there at all. Somehow theoretically stays on there. Not real stable, gotta say. Now it tells me to make the powdered mix first. And then I get why. You can make it blue and silver. So the first one I shall try. Let's go ahead and do the silver. Oops. So if you've never done this stuff before, see what I'm going through? That's normal. Okay. And it says resin. Let's see if this resin's going to work this time. Doesn't look so good down in there. It doesn't say how far to fill it. Okay. Okay, this thing's turning out to be more of a problem than a help. So, the resin back down in. Alright, I think I have it full. The looks of it, I wouldn't trust that powder though. The way they say to put it in is asking for trouble. But we do what we gotta do. Slide this guy in. Not sure how deep. Hopefully it's straight. It doesn't look like it. Looks real darn crooked to me, as a matter of fact. It seems it will go no other way. So let's see if this one will cure, or if we're going to be setting it aside again. That is pure liquid again. We'll try again, see what happens. Okay, here we are again, still liquid, like nothing ever happened. This is straight up the resin that they're using. So, I'm going to set this aside until tomorrow, and I'll come back and hopefully these will cure, because that's real disappointing if it doesn't. Now, I have other resin. I've got UV resin I can replace that with and do something different. But you want, if they're going to send a kit, it needs to work. I mean, there's no good excuse for that. Anyway, guys, I will see you tomorrow then. Okay, so it didn't end up being one day, but two, because yesterday I had a lot of stuff to do. So let's see what happened with that resin. It has been sitting in direct line with a window. We've had good sunlight for 2 days. Let's see if they ever set up. Here we are. Looks like it's not liquid anymore. But I can tell it's not attached. Not entirely. Oh, and it's still very sticky. Okay, this is not good. So this one failed. This is still not cured. 2 days later, direct sunlight and a UV lamp. Now there's this one. Looks a little more hopeful. Maybe. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm stretching the mold a little bit. Oh, that is pure liquid inside. So neither one of these set up at all. So all I can say is, while it's a great concept, if they're not going to give us good resin that's going to function, I'm sorry, many brands, your Lord of the Rings is a failure. I did get these early on, and they've been sitting around waiting. If they changed it and fixed this problem, I do not know. But I can tell you, for what I've got, this kit is a failure. Now, I've still got the molds, I've still got the parts. I may clean these up and go back in with some of my own resin and do them up properly. But let's be honest. Sure, you can do that. Maybe if you're like me and already have the resin, cool, go ahead. But if I'm paying for a kit that's supposed to be complete when I'm done with it, I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to do the extra cost of using my own resin in a resin kit. So, disappointments aside, guys, I like the concept. I like the little extras, even though you don't use them. If you collect miniatures, they're a nice little thing to have. It was beautifully decorated. Even on the molds, it's got some decoration. It's a little hard to see unless it's in person. The parts are nicely sculpted. There's even writing on this blade here. just the resin's a fail. So anyway, guys, don't get it unless you hear from somewhere that they've fixed it. Beyond that, if you like this content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have any of you done these kits and had them work? Let me know in the comments down here. Anybody? What do you think? Did yours fail as well? And I know it's not a resin issue because I went ahead and did some other things same day with my own resin and it set right up, no problems. So disappointed. But anyway, guys, thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Okay, I've rolled back around to these. I have left these set for 10 days because I've just had no time to get back up here into the workroom. 10 days. Now, mind you, the instructions say 6 hours in sunlight. Remember this. This one, I kind of budged it and realized it finally took hold. It is still sticky in the back, so it is not fully cured still. But it's holding now. This one I'm going to try and peel out and see if it worked at all. My concern is the way that they said to do the powder, just dumping it in there without mixing it in. That's sometimes a recipe for disaster because then you get pockets of powder that no resin goes through and areas where there's resin and no powder. Makes it structurally kind of weak too. But let's see if I can get this out of its mold. If you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm just stretching the mold to make it release a little. I'm not, ooh, I'm seeing something that's not making me feel happy. Look at this. That's telling me it's either not set up or there's nothing but powder there. But, yeah, like I said before, I could put my own resin in there, but what's the point of the kit if I have to provide the resin? And there's the answer. I have... What have I got in there? I've got this with a little rim of resin at the top. And this, which doesn't seem to have set up at all. It's either that or it's just a crust. Chunks. It's chunks and pieces. It's not set. Took way longer than it should have. And by this time, I don't even feel like going back and using my own resin to do this. This is such a dismal failure. It had great potential. The molds are very nice. Most of the props are good. but they wasted our time with bad resin. Could I possibly have done something wrong with it? Maybe, but here's the thing. Follow their instructions. There's no mixing, so I didn't mix it wrong, which is usually the issue you would have that would cause failures of this type. I can't imagine what would be wrong. I put it in the sun. I put it under a UV lamp, both of which you're supposed to be able to do. And it did not work. So, my all in all evaluation of this is don't bother. Unless you want to get the molds and use your own resin, which that's awful expensive for a couple of molds. If you want to do that, all power to you. Your own resin will definitely work better than this. You can theoretically use UV resin in these, and honestly, with the amount of time it took, regular pour resin, the 2-part, would be better than what they gave us. Especially with something like this where it's got some depth to it. And, well, maybe the light doesn't go through this one just as well. Use a 2-part instead. So that's it, guys. Tell me what you think. Would you buy this? Do you have any ideas of how you would fix this? Would you bother? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And if you don't mind, I'm going to clean this mess up. And I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.